It's a bit of a mystery in Kenya about who is abducting government critics who have been disappearing since these protests began in June. At least 82 people, according to the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights. And what seems to happen is as soon as somebody becomes critical of the government on social media or organizes a protest, they disappear. Some of them have come back and said they were tortured. They were chained to the floor, naked, and questioned about the source of the funding or just why they're being so vocal against the government of President William Ruto. He says that he will stop the abductions, but he also had a conditional part of that he will stop the abductions, but the young people of Kenya have to behave, they have to be polite, and they have to be disciplined, which people saw as a tacit endorsement, or at least an admission that his government has been abducting some critics. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, several more people have disappeared. Some of them young people in their 20s who posted AI-generated images of President William Ruto in a casket. One of them, a popular cartoonist who's been sharing satirical silhouettes of President William Ruto. They've all disappeared. Their families believe they were picked up, tracked on their phone, and picked up by Kenyan security forces. I want you to listen to one of the family members.
I am here as a parent. Please, I am begging. I have cried enough. I do not have strength. I feel like dying.
And so, a short while ago, a judge in Kenya has ordered the national police and the security agencies to unconditionally release the abducted people that are in their custody, even though the police have claimed they don't have them in their custody, and they're investigating why. Many in the country just don't believe them. The families don't believe them because they haven't made any attempts to investigate who exactly is snatching these critics off the road. And they've disappeared, some of them, for several months now, Becky.
It's good to have you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. To Larry, who is today in Luanda in Angola. Right.
According to many Kenyans on social media, CNN has come out to do the Lord's work. In the recent days, we have seen disappearances of government critics, especially through spaces like X, where young people have raised their voices and their concern about how the Kenya Kwanza administration has been running things. In the recent days, we have seen young people being abducted and undergoing some of the most unreasonable ordeals under the hands of these said government abductors, and supposedly these people have been roaming around in spirals. However, the origin of this started when it was the finance bill demonstration and other demonstration which were following that year. From the months of June, July, the government sent police officers to the street who were masked and who were plainclothes with guns. Those people were shooting people aimlessly, and some of them are now in court. However, these things have transitioned ahead also, and these people have started new methods of abducting young people. The people like Kibet Bull, Peter Muteti, and many others were abducted from their daily activities and bundled into cars and taken to exile for more than 15 days. Many Kenyans citing concern that the way this government is doing things is not the way they expected to. Here is an ordeal of some of the people who were abducted.
Baada ya madakika chumba yangu ikafunguliwa, nikamulikwa torch, yule askari akakuja akafungua pingu na akaanza kunipiga makofi, akaniambia mnaachiliwa na ile joto mmeleta Kenya ni joto kubwa sana, so tunaomba msijaribu kwenda kwa any media kwenda kuelezea jinsi mahali mmekuwa na kudescribe ile torture mmepitia, tutawarudia atuwaue. Na wakachukua sellotape wakanifunga round na wakafunga mikono zangu. So wakafungua mlango kama kuna ka corridor, akanisimamisha, nikasikia akiambia Longton, naambia ndugu yako muone asiai jaribu kwenda kwa maandamano wala asiaonekana frontliner.
When we were released, actually we were thrown somewhere near Gashie, the last point of Kitisiru. There's a river. From Kitisiru you are coming to somewhere close to Bishop's Road. There's an estate there. When we were thrown there, we were told to sit down. We were masked, but with sellotapes, and all our hands with sellotapes, so that we can just remove and proceed. So we handed back our phones and some 300 shillings for transport. So once they told us, kindly don't open the masks or the sellotapes until you hear the sound of the vehicle has gone. We actually did that. When we opened ourselves, our phones were 0%, so they could not light up because I wanted to know where I was. We did not know where we were at that point, but we could see an estate some distance or along Bishop's Road. I told my brother, let's go to that estate. If you can get watchmans, we charge our phones. So once we reached that estate, we narrated our ordeal to the watchmen. And they told us, you guys, you've been in the media for the longest time. We charged our phones. I called my brother, Abdul Longton. They told him, now we've been thrown somewhere in Gashia. Come pick us. They started coming from Kitengela. And I also called some human rights bodies, told them we've been released. They came to our rescue. They took us to a safe house. They took us for medical attention. So we stayed in Nairobi for about 3 weeks at their own cost, the human rights organizations. Then we were brought back to Kitengela. I lost 16 kgs within a month.
After watching this video to the end, you will realize that in whose hands are we safe? If the Longtong brothers were taken to captivity, what about these others people? What are we really safe in our country? Because we have seen how this whole saga has been going on and how these things have been operating and how these government officials, aka government sponsored people, have been doing this thing all around. The way they have moved, the way they have maneuvered, and the way they are going to come up with even different ideas to push this agenda of silencing people. We saw the CS for Environment and the CS for Interior come out to say that they are going to launch a program that is going to see, or that is going to ensure that the people who are opposing the government on social media are going to be arrested.